Hey gang, welcome back to the Ashland Fly Shop Fishing Report for the end of January, 1st of February. Here we are. Things are looking pretty good. We're going to hop right into it. Away we go. All right, we always start with the Upper Rogue. Not too much going on in the Upper Rogue right now, I would say. There have been some kind of interesting things happening, so let's do a little recap. A lot of rain. Flows really came up this week, really bumped. We had our first really significant kind of real jump for this time of year. I think around Dodge Bridge, we were up at 6,000, 7,000, so that's a pretty big bump. Pulled a bunch of fish up, sucked a bunch of fish, a bunch of summer fish, maybe some early winter fish. Most of the river's just still coming down, but should be in pretty good shape by the weekend. Is what it's looking like. Now the upper stretch is this phenomenon that we have just below the dam. So from the hatchery down to like Casey Park was pretty clear, and there was actually some pretty good fishing in there for like I said, like really late summer fish, and there's some pretty nice fish caught up there. So a lot of, still some late fishing going on. People starting to look for winners, but it's still on the early side. But with a big push like that, we will tend to see, for the chance for there to be a few winners caught, we're kind of getting into that place. So this weekend, actually the Upper Rogue around Dodge down around Tuvell looks to be around just over 2,000, 2,500. So that's pretty good. Pretty good for fishing if you want to go poke around and look for an early fish. That's a good bet. Down there, gonna be slow. I wouldn't expect too much. Now's the time to be fishing, your bigger sink tips and a little bit bigger flies, and just trying to get some movement in front of whatever fish might be out there. So that's kind of what we're seeing in the Upper Rogue. Not a real pull to fish there right now, but if it's something to do, it's something to do. And that's what we're seeing there. But for the foreseeable future, the weather pattern looks solid, looks good. We're going to have some overcast days. River flows look to stay about the same. So we're in a kind of a nice spell right here, as opposed to a lot of the big flows that we've had lately. We'll talk about the holy water, that little impoundment, trout impoundment up on the Upper Rogue between the hatchery and the dam. So very, very low flows. Actually has been some good fishing this year with blueing olives. Pretty consistent. So that's something. We've just had a lot of overcast days this year, it seems like, and we've, gotten semi-precipitation out of them. So those kind of days can be really good up there. So I'd keep poking around up there as we get these little bit warmer periods and warmer spells that we've had. It's going to kind of kick that bug activity up a little bit probably. Using your trout spays up there and swinging streamers and stuff and fishing nymphs is always a decent bet. We've had okay feedback on fishing streamers this time of year. Or within the last couple weeks, but some decent fish being caught. I'd kind of focus maybe on the lower end of the holy water, but that's always something to do up there, and you always have a chance for a really nice fish this time of year. So the holy water continues to be a good trout bet on the upper river with really low flows, so you should be able to fish almost anywhere you want up there now. The upper Klamath, we keep an eye on pretty good this time of year. It did pop up pretty good. It was holding around, 1,000 or so, but it popped up to about 1,600 or 1,700 out of Iron Gate Dam. So that's pretty good amount of water coming through that upper stretch and down through I-5. But it's right on the upper end, I would say. If it creeps back down to like 1,200, 1,400, then that's decent. And then if we can kind of get back down to, again, that 1,000, then that's pretty good. There's probably a fair amount of fish up there right now, with that water, that big push of water kind of pulling some fish up. But there always is a decent amount of fish up there this time of year. So if that's intriguing for you, that upstream fishing that's kind of holding on, then the upper Klamath is a place to look at. Same kind of stuff. Swinging flies, dark flies, smaller dark patterns work good up there. Smaller, like kind of trout size intruders and things like that can work good. Sink tips, moderate to heavy sink tips up there, and your standard nymph selections are always going to work good. So that upper Klamath will continue to be a good bet as long as those flows don't freak out, but it looks pretty good for the next week or so. North Umpqua, starting to pay attention to the upper stretch of the Umpqua. It's still a little high. That watershed tends to get more precipitation than we do, and so it tends to kind of fluctuate a bit more, and it's up a bit right now, but you can fish it up a little higher in winter. It's a little bit easier to do that this time of year, and you'll get a little bit better color this time of year than you would in like the fall when we get the rains that come through. So it's worth considering going up there and starting to poke around, but this is just about the time that we start really looking around for winter fish up there, and that's a really cool walk around winter fishery up there. Can be some pretty outstanding fish caught in the winter up there. You know, it's a tough fishery, same as in the summer. It's a challenge to get around. You want to be real careful up there, but it can be a pretty good bet and some pretty big rewards. So be careful. You know, large dark patterns, egg-sucking leeches, things like that can work well. Yeah. So the north is a good bet, and start paying attention to that up there. We'll hop on over to the coast. The coast looks like it's really going to drop into shape for this weekend. So don't expect to be alone over there. It is a tough code to crack, but you know, the people that really enjoy going hunting around over there will probably be out there for the next 4 or 5 days. Really good conditions, looks like. I don't know how much rain they're expecting to get, but it shouldn't mess with the flows too much. They're kind of just dropping into shape in the next couple days here as we go into the weekend. Probably a good solid 4 days or so of fishing before start thinking about lower water if the weather kind of holds. But good overcasts, good light sprinkles and stuff. So I think there could be some really, some of the best fishing of the year to be had on the coast right now. I know you're throwing stuff at me right now. I can tell that you're throwing things at me on the screen, but it's just the truth. It's just the way it is. We have to, you know, the least we can do is share conditions and weather without giving too much away. But yeah, should be some good stuff to do over on the coast if you can get out there. That's what we're doing. That's what we're seeing, besides just getting prepared for kind of the peak of winter steelhead, which we're just kind of coming up on, which is a real grind of a season, but it can be pretty fun. There could be some real rewards in there. So, you know, we're just kind of getting prepared for that and looking forward to it. Hope you are too. If there's anything we can help you with as far as up-to-date information for our region, we're certainly happy to. Give us a call here at the shop. We're happy to help. Thank you.